Let's talk about conference realignment. So obviously USC and UCLA, the big names from the Pac-12 going to the Big Ten. Kind of the big names that are still left in the Pac-12 are Oregon and Washington. We had that report that the Big Ten was basically making them wait on Notre Dame to see what Notre Dame was going to do, and nothing's happened yet. I guess the first question is, how does this affect the Pac-12 and the Big Ten as it relates to USC and UCLA specifically? Let's talk about that part of it. Then we could talk more about what is to come. What do you think will happen? What do you want to happen? But first of all, USC and UCLA are part of the Big Ten now. What even is this?
It makes no sense to anybody. The I think they looked at, I don't know. I'm kind of tired of talking about the whole thing, truthfully, because
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know why they went there. There's no real reason. The only thing I can think of is you had to sit there. Well, I mean, the money's a big deal, no doubt, but you had to sit there and watch your conference not really care about COVID and not really try to muscle through, and not like the SEC. It was very obvious that like football is going to happen. No, it's going to happen. Where the Pac-12 had to be kind of carried along almost yeah, like we're going to try, like, yeah, maybe not. And yeah, so in that way, like football heavy teams are going to go to a more football heavy conference. They're going to get paid way more. And by the way, here's how much it matters. If the actual media rights deal kind of goes through, and it looks like the SEC and the Big Ten become the two conferences. Just think about this for a minute. Vanderbilt will have pulled off the greatest snow job of all time. They will have elevated themselves into a top 50 program from money alone. Like, they're going, if they do pull it off, they have to this point. But teams that do get in there, like Rutgers, another example, Maryland, like it's unbelievable the amount of money that they will make over, say, a team like Oregon or Oklahoma State or West Virginia. You name a program. Clemson, even Vanderbilt's going to get way more money per year than Clemson in football.
Yeah.
And this matters. Like, if you're not paying attention, you can buy players now. Like, that's why USC and UCLA went, because they really had no choice. Like, they truthfully didn't really have a choice. I don't know what the Pac-12 does from here on out. I think they're pretty much done as a conference. Personally, I think they have to fold into the Big 12 probably. But yeah, money. Like the simple answer is money. Someone said that Vanderbilt could get $100 million a year from being a member of the SEC. And I mean, the members of the ACC, I'm not sure what they're getting, but I know it's like not nearly half.
It's like a fourth of that.
Yeah, I think it's like 20 million a year that they'd be getting. Not even close. And that's Clemson, Miami, Florida State not getting nearly what Vanderbilt and Rutgers are getting. So yeah, that's why you have to change the teams that take initiative, the schools and the conferences that take initiative are the ones that come out as winners in this. We've seen so far, the SEC proved this. And I think credit to UCLA and USC, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. How do you think this affects the rest of college football? Like, obviously you have the ACC hanging on by a thread, and there's the way the money works is if 8 teams leave the ACC, then they don't have to pay a fee. If fewer than that leave, they have to like pay out the wazoo to leave because of their grantor rights deal and all that. So if you're the Big Ten and the SEC, do you just get your heads together and like, you take these 4, I'll take these 4? Like, do you make that happen, or do you think the ACC survives this somehow?
Like, I don't see how. Like, how do they survive unless they go nuclear and add a whole bunch of teams? You have to compete from a TV dollar standpoint now. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just compete from like we have, a bunch of prestigious schools and we win a lot of games. It's not, winning games doesn't really matter as much as dollar amounts. because you can buy players. Like, again, NIL combined with this is going to create just like, yeah, I keep going back to Vanderbilt. Dear Lord, Vanderbilt, and Rutgers. Like, I don't know what really happens to these other conferences. It would seem that it would be, you'd have like two super conferences pretty much from a money standpoint and a power standpoint. And then everyone else, like, it's kind of like the group of 5 becomes the group of 8. And like, we have like two actual top conferences and then like a group of 8. You know what I mean? It kind of feels that way. And unless maybe the ACC and the Big 12 can get some really sweet media rights deals for their games. And maybe they can come like, hey, we're not going to give you 100, but like, we can give you 70. We can give you 70 mil. And like, will you stay with us for that? Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I have no, like, that would really suck to be like the ACC. Like, Clemson can't leave. They literally can't leave. And like, they're going to pay just a crazy amount of money to leave. I don't know. That's tough. There's some teams that have really been kind of left in the dark a little here.
I do think that if you're Clemson, Florida State, Miami, like, you're going to be okay in the long run, because either you will go to the SEC and they will help you pay that massive buyout or whatever, or maybe you get, okay, here's the thing. Here, starting a new thought here. I apologize. 2 years ago, we had all these ACC fans on Twitter saying we should have made Notre Dame become a permanent member. Like, we had all the leverage. You didn't. And now I don't know that it's hyperbole to say the only thing that could actually save the ACC is if Notre Dame joined. To me, that's about the only. You get Notre Dame and West Virginia, and maybe you like get UCF, like pull them out of the Big 12, and maybe a Cincinnati. Like, maybe you get a quality TV product that way that someone's willing to pay big money for. That's about the only way. Like, otherwise, you're counting on hopefully the SEC will take us or whatever. Like, and yes, you will make more money that way. It's also going to make football a little different if you all of a sudden have Miami, Florida State, Clemson, and the SEC. All of a sudden, it just changes stuff, man. And it makes it more difficult. If you're Florida State, you're already trying to get out of a hole. Like, you're already trying to become relevant again. Yeah. Relevant is the wrong word. You're trying to become good again. And it just makes it that much harder. If you're Clemson, you're trying to beat one team a year that is more talented than you. You join the SEC, you might have to beat 3 teams a year that are more talented than you.
Yeah.
It just makes it a little different. I don't like it. Like, personally, I would prefer if we had maybe 4 conferences that were power conferences. But I don't know. Like, I do think that regardless, we can all complain about how it's going to look and it's ruining college football. At the end of the day, we're all still going to enjoy college football. We're going to watch it. That doesn't mean we have to love it as much as we used to. We don't have to love all the changes.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not going to lie. I wish it would have stayed the way it was. I personally would take the BCS system and everything that came with it over where we're moving now. Like, if we could lock in one brand of football for the next 20 years, I would take 2005 football with the BCS and all of its shortcomings over this here with NIL, new conferences, money, TV rights deals, transfer portal stuff. I would it's changed so much in just the last 2 years, 3 years. And yeah, agree. I think it, like, just because we're changing it doesn't make it better, man. Like, yeah, I know that my conference personally is going to benefit drastically from this. Like, the SEC is they're going to be the most powerful. I mean, yeah, Greg Sankey is the most powerful person in college football right now. Currently, there's not a close second. He is the guy. And that's good for Georgia, I think, like, because Georgia has a prominent seat at the table and they're not going anywhere. But I'm not a fan of that. Like, going back to the old school, the Big 12, the Pac-12, ACC, and then SEC, Big 10. Like, that's 2005, man. 2005, 6, 7, 8. I guess when it changed, 14 was the first year of the playoff.
Yep.
But yeah, just because we're changing doesn't make it better. And I think there's a lot of people out there that we were clamoring for kids to get paid because they were, like, how are they going to support? This is so unfair. And these are the same people that are like, well, how didn't you have a plan in place to take care of all of this? But like, no, we gave you what you wanted. You wanted a free market, and now you've got a free market, and now like all kinds of stuff's happening. So yeah, I maybe that makes me just the old, maybe that just makes me the old man, yelling at the wind or whatever. But like, I don't recognize the sport and where it's going. It's way different than what I grew up with.
So let me paint a potential picture for you. This is what I'm rooting for to happen. This is going to be a little bit idealistic, but if you got this, would you be happy? Okay, let's say the Big 12 gets Oregon and Washington, and then your top 6 teams from the ACC. So Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, pick another one, Louisville maybe or whatever. That's in the weeds. Best 6 from the ACC, Oregon and Washington. Now we have a Big 3. And the Big 12 wouldn't be as strong as the Big 10 and the SEC, but it would be close. It would be still, you could still call it a Power 3, right? Also, let's make it an 8-team playoff. No automatic qualifiers. We're guaranteed to have a team from the top 3 leagues. Maybe you get a team from the group of 7 or whatever. But you're going to have some good SEC, Big 10, the new Big 12 matchups. You're going to have a good playoff. We go 5 years down the road, and now we talk about NIL the same way we talk about proximity to home. It's part of recruiting, but it's not the main part. It's just kind of subtext. And we talk about how actually maybe NIL leveled the playing field a little bit. Miami got good. Tennessee got good. Notre Dame got better. Oklahoma upped their game a little bit because of it leveled the playing field just a little bit. We still have Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State at the top of this at the top of college football, but now we have the number 10 team is a little closer to the number 1 team than it used to be. So now we have playoff games that are actually competitive. And is anything that I'm talking about, like, is there any chance that this happens? Is that too idealistic? And would you enjoy that? The world that I just described?
No, I'd be a fan of that. I have no problem with that. I don't have any belief that the people making these decisions love the tradition of it all like I do, and love the pageantry. And like, maybe I just don't like change. Like, maybe that's a realistic possibility. I just don't enjoy watching the change. But like, I don't think that most people that are making decisions care to see that happen. I think they're out chasing money right now. And
I think my plan would make a ton of money.
Well,
make me commissioner, guys. Come on.
Yeah. We do need one. Sankey needs to step up and just run all of college football. I'd be a fan of that. I think Sankey actually would be by far the best.
He's been a couple steps ahead of everyone else the whole way. Him and I'm a little biased here, but Jack Swarbrick also has done an excellent job as Notre Dame's athletic director, and I think he would do. He's not like a lifer Notre Dame guy. Like, I think he would do an excellent job, because he has talked about stepping down from that role. It's a demanding role. I think if he would become him or Sankey, those two guys are two names I think that would be excellent names as college football commissioner. And you would just trust that a whole lot more if they had that name attached to the NCAA than what we have now. Right now, the NCAA's approval rating is probably what, 4%? Just saying. Like, it's terrible. Nobody trusts the NCAA. The Supreme Court was completely united against them. 7-0 or 9-0. That does not happen. If you got Greg Sankey or Jack Swarbrick running college football, everything would improve. I guarantee it.
Yeah, no, agreement from me. Can we just close? That's depressing. I don't enjoy talking about this stuff anymore. Let's go home.
I'm sorry, everyone that's listening, if you got depressed. Your favorite team will almost certainly outperform their expectations this season, and will defeat all of those other schools that are only getting their recruits due to NIL. Your school does it the right way with good relationships. So put a smile on your face. Tell your friends about our podcast. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you all.